Hello my lovely friends, I know it's been a while, it's been 2 months since I posted video like this sitting in front of the camera, so just the concept of this again is very strange to me, but I couldn't wait to see you finally again. I'm very happy to be recording video again from new environment because yes, I moved for the 3rd time this year and last time. I can definitely say that I'm very happily settled with wonderful flatmate whose book I'm gonna be talking about as well in a while, which I'm stealing currently, and yeah, you can just see how excited I am to be finally filming again. Anyway, it's been 2 months since I posted video like this. As I mentioned, 2 weeks ago I posted video of me reading at the beach, which I'm very happy that you enjoyed according to your comments and messages, but it wasn't really me talking to you directly, and I thought that now is finally the time to start filming again as I used to before, so posting every week or maybe even sometime twice a week. So that's the plan and hopefully that's gonna work out. And for this video I thought that I would start with something simple, something easy for me, and that would be a book haul, because if you remember, I mentioned couple videos and ages ago that when I came back here to Scotland in January I brought only one book with me. And I did not really have space in my suitcase for other books. So whilst the time I was here in Scotland, I gathered a couple books which you already seen in my previous videos, or maybe I mentioned them in my wrap-ups or you saw them in my bookshelves. But in the last few weeks or even months, because it's been a while, I gathered a few more books, and also because, as I mentioned, I moved to a new place and my flatmate has absolutely stunning bookshelf as well, and I would like to borrow some books from her, and I just thought that I would give you maybe a little bit of inspiration of books you might read as well, and maybe you will discover that some of these books may be of your interest as well. Right, so the first book, let me put my tea down somewhere. So the first book which I gathered is this one called Woman in White. I hope you can see it, yes. I was very excited to get this book. I got this, I believe, when my friend was here from Slovakia, and we had a little trip to this stunning bookshop called Armchair Books in Edinburgh. If you will ever go there, please go to the shop. It's stunning, it's wonderful. They have second-hand books for very good prices. Honestly, this one, this thick edition, thick book with the lovely edition was, I think, £3 or £3.50, I think. So very good, also in a quite good condition. And Woman in White is a novel which I wanted to read already last year for October, and I started with audiobook, but for some reason I could not really get into it. But I hear praises from everyone who ever mentions this book, so I believe it really must be good and I would like to give it another go. But to be honest, I'm saving this for the October as well. So this is something I'm gonna be reading later in the year. Hopefully I will finally finish the book because I just cannot wait. It's very good one. Something else I wanted to say about this book. Oh yeah, it would be good to tell you what is it actually about. So I don't know exactly all the details, but this should be a little bit of like gothic, maybe horror story with ghosts, with love, with the secrets of the past, and a little bit of romance. I haven't read anything about this book except what is here on the back of the book, because recently I realized that if I don't know much of a book but I hear a lot of people talking about it and enjoying the book, I just don't really want to know what is it about in many details. I just feel that reading the back of the book is enough for me, and then as I read the book and as I discover the story, that's when I decide, okay, this is something I want to continue with or not. So this is the first book I purchased for my little book haul. The second book I bought, and yet in the same bookstore in Edinburgh, is this one. It's edition of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, because if you remember, I mentioned a couple times that Jane Eyre is one of my most favorite books of all time. I love Bronte sisters and their writing, and back home I have this special edition from 60s which was gifted to me by my grandmother, and I love that book so much. And I found there this book as well. It was again like £2 or £3, I believe, so I just decided that it would be lovely to actually read it in English, because I never done it. I always read it only in Slovak. And amazing thing is that initially I got this book for a book club, because that's another amazing thing about me moving to this current flat. I met my flatmate who I did not know before, and we just clicked very well. She's absolutely amazing person, absolutely crazy in same ways as I am, so perfect, I'm having a blast. But she also reads a lot, which is amazing, and she has quite a lot of friends who also loves to read, which is amazing, and they have little book club. So initially I bought this for the book club, but then as I was still kind of settling in the new place and stuff, I did not have time to read it, so I did not join the book club for that meeting about this book. But there will be another meeting coming up, so I literally now have a group of people in real life who I can talk about with books, talk about books with. So I'm extremely excited. And anyway, I don't think that there is too much introduction needed for Jane Eyre. It's a story of a young woman who was working as a governess for one older man, and basically there was little love story going on. But the main point is that through all her struggles and everything she's been through in her life, she never stopped wanting more from the life and never stopped trying to achieve her goals. And I believe this is one of the greatest books ever written, in my opinion, because it really shows women, you know, power, and when you set your mind to something, what everything you can achieve, although everything is kind of against you and life is not easy. So I really love this book, and yeah, that's another book. The third book I wanted to mention actually quite a while ago, and I think that you already noticed it in one of my bookshelves in some places where I used to live a couple months ago, and it's this one, The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I hope you see that. This is a book which I purchased, I believe, in March or something, and I really wanted to read this, but the issue I have with these kind of books is I believe that we still should read a lot of these stories and these books to, you know, never forget and always remember what happened. But in the same time, and I do want to read these books, but in the same time, I always just keep putting it aside and later because of, you know, it's very difficult to read stuff like this. But this is a book I heard a lot of good things about, and I would really like to explore the story in more details. Also, I'm quite excited because one of the Scottish production companies, actually, which I've been following for quite a while, in 2018, I believe, they got rights from the author to make a TV series from this story. And I know that it was supposed to come out in 2020, but it did not happen yet, so I believe it's still in production. But I'm very excited to read the book first, and then once the TV show comes out, I would really love to see this, because it's the company which is based here in Scotland, and I've been following their journey for quite a while, so it's a little bit special. It's not like, oh yeah, Netflix done it and I never had nothing to do with Netflix. So yeah, that's also one of the reasons why I would like to read this. And the story of this book is that our main character, Lael, is the tattooist in Auschwitz, as the title of the book says. So he is the one who tattoos the numbers on the forearms of the other prisoners. And one day Gita is the name of the girl. She comes to the camp as well, and they fall in love. So this book basically follows their journey through all the obstacles, and I don't know if it's gonna be happy ending. I'm really hoping it will be, but yeah, so this is one of the books I really wanted to read. If you have read this book, please let me know in the comments, because at some point I would really like to read it, but as I said, I just keep pushing it for later time because it's a difficult read, but still important to read as well. Right, and moving to my recent purchase is this one, which I mentioned on my Instagram account as well. I bought this in the book fair at Botanical Gardens. Isn't it amazing? They had a book fair at Botanical Gardens, and I bought this book for, again, I believe like £2 or something, and I really wanted to read this book because I heard so many people talking about this. Again, I'm not quite sure exactly what the book is about. From what I read on the back of the book, it kind of gives me the Bridget Jones diary vibes, but I don't think this is a comedy or anything like that. I think it's more serious, and I believe it should be about women searching for something else in the life. So I'm very excited to read this. Again, if you read this book, please let me know on my Instagram post. Many of you mentioned in the comments that you absolutely love the book, alongside with one more I will mention in a minute. So yeah, please let me know if you read this. Okie doke, so moving to another part of the book haul, and these are the books which I did not purchase myself, but I found them in my flatmate's library when I moved in, and I'm very excited to borrow all those books. And I will start with this one, which is called White Teeth. I haven't heard of this book very much before, but when I moved in, my flatmate was currently reading this, and she said it's really amazing. And then when I did a little search on internet, many people were praising this book, and apparently, again, don't know many details, but this should be a book about love, war, friendship and also several generations. I believe like 3 different families, 3 different generations, and also different countries. So whenever there is a book with more people involved and they are kind of connected, or even more generations and different countries, I would love to read the book. So it's quite a chunky one, so I am saving this at some point during this year, because actually all of this book, which is something I wanted to mention at the beginning, this is a little book haul and sort of my future TBR, very much in the future, because as I said, I'm catching up on my books which I was supposed to have finished months ago, but still I thought I will mention this book to you and hopefully you will find something in your interest. And this is definitely something that I would like to read in the future. This should be a debut novel and everyone was praising it, so fingers crossed that I will get to reading it at least this year, because it sounds really amazing. Almost at the end, my friends, but there is one more book which I mentioned previously on my Instagram as well, alongside with Eleanor Oliphant, and this is interesting because this book called Girl, Woman and Other, I found this in my previous flatmate bookshelf when I moved in the previous place where I used to stay, and I immediately noticed this book and I wanted to read it, but again, things got very busy and I read other books meanwhile and I did not have chance to read this one. And then I moved here and I realized that my flatmate actually has the book as well. So I take this as a sign that I really should read the book this year, or hopefully at some point in the future. And this is very interesting one, set in Britain, and it should speak about the Black British experience. There should be 12 different women and their stories, and my flatmate read it and she said it's amazing. I think this is written in a style when you don't really have too much of punctuation or like direct speech. What's the word for direct speech? Uvodzoki. Anyway, the marking in the book, I cannot recall the words for this. I'll find the word and put it here. So it's written a little bit in a different style, but it still should be amazing. And my flatmate spoiled it a little bit for me, and she said that apparently these 12 stories should be somehow connected, which I kind of assume that's the thing usually when you read books like this, but even better reason for me to read this book, because I really do love stories. For example, in movies like Love Actually, you know, you have millions of different characters and they are connected. I got a feeling that this is not gonna be so easy, heartfelt, uplifting book as it was Love Actually story, but I'm still very excited to read this one. Right, and now slowly moving to the last one, which is also a funny story, because this is a book called The Instant by Amy Liptrot. I love the cover very much, and funny thing is that when I asked you on the Instagram a week ago or so, even 2 weeks ago, what are you currently reading, one of you mentioned this book, and I look at the cover and I was like, I'm sure I saw this somewhere, and guess what, my flatmate had it in the bookshelf. So I decided I will have a little look at this, and it kind of caught my interest because this book should be set between Orkneys and Berlin, and I believe it might be something like autobiography of the author herself, but mostly should focus on exploring and changing your life. So probably something different from the other books I just mentioned, but still worth it to read. And also it's quite thin, so hopefully this should not take me ages. And oh, actually, and this is signed by the author. I never really read a book which is signed by the author, so that's gonna be interesting as well. Right, my friends, those are all the books which I wanted to mention to you right now. I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope you like some of these books. Please let me know in the comments if you read any of these books, or if there is maybe one book you think I should start read as first once I finally get to it. And thank you very much for joining me today. Let me know in the comments how have you been. Leave a comment about anything, because I would love to chat with you again. If you like the video, please consider subscribe. I will be posting hopefully again regularly every week, maybe even twice a week. And until that time, take care and I will see you again very soon. Bye!